Alright, this, I can't really think about why I thought about this. I was watching a video online about gambling addiction and everything going on with gaming right now with loot boxes and microtransactions. And it started making me think of something that I went through for a few years. And it's pretty bad. I stopped over a year ago maybe, and this started in 2014, and I'm talking about Magic the Gathering, the card game. And I mean, I still know people who play it, and I still know people who are just as bad as I was, or even worse still. And I'm gonna go over just how it started, and it got how out of control it got, and it's becoming too much for me and for people around me. So I started getting into it 2014, yeah, so it was my last year of high school, and I learned it from my sister's boyfriend at the time. And at first I was like, I'd already grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I didn't care for Pokemon, and I didn't really want to play another card game. But he gave me a deck to play with. I was like, okay, that's pretty fun, interesting. I feel like it actually takes more skill than Yu-Gi-Oh! And we went to a tournament, and I got my ass kicked by everybody. And a guy was telling me what I should be buying and what not to get and what I should change. So I went to the local card shop. It's like 20 minutes from here, and I bought some cards, and it's like 39 cents a card, $1 for a good card, $5 for a real good card, and it keeps going up. So I just bought a few 39-cent cards, whatever. I was like, wow, that's cheap, cool, I can build a deck. So I built my own deck. It was green and white. It took maybe like $10, $15. I was like, hell yeah. And I didn't really go to tournaments, but I started getting my friends to play it. And it took a while. It was the same how I was. I didn't really care for it, but we started playing more and more, and two of my good friends, they started playing it. And so I gave my original deck to a friend of mine. And then I built my own, which was black and white, and that cost me about $80, $90 to build, because I was like, okay, I'm in this now. So I started, I went to the store, and then I looked on Amazon, and I was like, this card is $10, but I want that good deck, so I built it, and it was a good deck. I think part of what made it more expensive is that since we didn't play by certain rules, we just played whatever cards you have, make a deck out of it, so it kind of went all over the place. But my friends started getting into it as well, and then we found another group to play with, so there was like 9 of us all together, and we used to play twice a week in the beginning, and then it started going to almost every single day. We'd be playing for 7 hours a day. And it was just consuming. And these people we started playing with, God, they would just, every day they'd show up with all these new cards they went and bought. And, you felt, you wanted to do better. You're almost jealous of what they had. They whoop your ass with this badass card, and now you're looking at it like, oh. And then you Google it, you're on Amazon, $20, okay, well, I want to kick that guy's ass, so I'm going to buy it. And that's what it became. You just, every time you got your ass kicked, you'd go on Amazon after the fight was over, and you'd be like, okay, what cards can I get to whoop that guy's deck? And it's all these great cards, but they're $25, $30. And, you're so into the game that you're like, purchase. And I was making a lot of purchases. I didn't even have a really good paying job, and I lived in the apartment with my girlfriend, And every time, and I got paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I'd be going on Amazon. And here I am ordering 20, 30 cards, spending $30, $40. And then, that started going into not being able to pay for groceries, and, we needed milk. Oh, we don't have money for milk, this and that. But here I am, just like holding these cards in my hand, looking at it like, how excited I was to play. And it was getting really, really bad. And then it got to a point, I'd say the top part. My friend, who was the last guy we were trying to get into the game, he started spending, he was spending crazy amounts of money. Fortunately for him, he doesn't live on his own. So, maybe that's also a reason why it's more okay to blow off that kind of money. But, he started buying, just all these. And then we were selling each other cards and decks and stuff. And it got to a point where another friend of ours, he'd come and say, oh, I just bought this card for $85. Even though, he doesn't, he's hardly being able to live by himself. So I started noticing, I was like, oh my God, is this what's happening to everybody? We're wasting all of our money on cards. Oh, no, before that I went on Amazon and I bought, it was right when Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, came out, the Planeswalker. I bought that brand new, I think it was like $50. And I felt like, I felt good buying it. I felt awesome. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do the best. And then, after I got it, I looked at it, and when I held it in my hand, I was like, I just spent $50 on this card. This thing that could just break easily. And, someone could easily just, boop, rip it, bend it, whatever. And then I started to, realize, I was like, God, what am I doing? And, a lot of this is having self-control, which I guess I don't really have, because, the excitement of the game of wanting to win is what gets you to keep paying more. And like I was saying, we had our friends by the end, they were spending $300-400 to make that perfect deck, or 3 separate decks. By the end, I had 3 separate decks. Each one I spent like a couple $100 building. And when I started just thinking about that, I was like, this is like $600 worth of cards right here. Just paper cards. And I started thinking like, whoa, God, what am I doing? And that was just with knowing what I'm going to buy. There's also booster packs. It's just like a loot box in a game. You have no idea what you're going to get, but you still spend that money because you have a feeling like you'll get something good. I think it's 15 cards in a booster pack, and I think I went in there with $60-70, blew it all off on booster packs, and I kept opening each one, and 2 out of the 60 gave me actual good things. I mean, not 2 out of the 60, but $60 worth of booster packs, and only 2 gave me like something, like really valuable cards. The rest were just junk cards. And that was like the second example where I sat back and I was like, what am I doing? This is bad. It was also just doing the same, you and your friends every night, 6-7 hours, all the way into 3 or 4 in the morning. You're playing Magic. I remember at the time I was working at Panera Bread, and I had to work 5 in the morning to like 2 or 3, and I got off. I went straight to my friend's house, and we played Magic the Gathering till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And what happened is I was so tired, but I wanted to keep playing. I was like, no, I need to go home. And I'm not saying this is Magic's fault, but this is my own fault. I guess it really has nothing to do with this video, but I remember I played Magic, and then I was driving home and I fell asleep, and I crashed into a tree, going like 60 miles an hour. Thankfully I had my seatbelt on, but when I woke up, the first thing I did, and this is like, God, I don't even know what's wrong with me. The first thing I did is I had my Magic cards and everything in a suitcase right next to me. And, I woke up and I looked next to me and the suitcase was gone. And that's all I could think about. I wasn't even worried about my own life. I was just like, oh my God, where's my cards? And then I looked and they had just fallen down. So I quickly grabbed it and threw it out the window because my door wouldn't open. And then I jumped out the window with my cards. And, I was just like, thank God my cards are safe. And now when I look back, I'm like, what is wrong with me? I cared more about cards than my own life. And so I slowly stopped playing. We by the end we played like maybe once a week, maybe once a month. And then I was just tired of it. I was like, every time I played, I felt like going on Amazon buying more cards. And I know that's not necessarily the game's fault. It is a mental thing. But it's highly addicting to just keep buying these cards and to build the best. And now I don't have any cards. I sold my decks separately, and then I sold all my spare cards separately. And I would recommend, if you're selling, to sell on like Facebook or Lego, not like vintage stock or anything, because they'll rip you off so bad. But when I sold it felt weird. When I sold it, I felt like a part of me was being ripped away. Like it was almost hard. But then when I gave it away, I sat back and I was like, no more. I'm done. After selling all that, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And like I said, it's been like a year, maybe a year and a half since I've played, and I miss it, but I don't feel like buying cards or anything. I mean, really, I started getting back into collecting actual things, which this is not really any better, but I like collecting memorabilia and stuff more than I collecting cards. So yeah, I know this rant was all over the place, but it's just, I feel like it's one of those things people don't really think about when you get in a card game, or really any kind of game. With video games, with loot boxes, it's so addicting to be the best and to have all the coolest things that you start forgetting about everything else, and you just keep spending money. You go on Amazon, 10 cards are only 10 cents each, and then it just adds up. And by the end, when you look back and you don't even really care anymore, you think, I just spent like $600 on these cards and I don't even touch them anymore. So definitely, if I ever get back into it, I'll just be borrowing other people's cards. I'm not going to buy my own. But that's going to be it for this. Thanks for listening. I know this is just a random and a rant, but I feel like it was one of those things that people need to be aware about, especially maybe little kids. Which, I know I'm an adult, but you never know for other people how they are with things like this. And if I'm like this, how I am now, I can't imagine if someone like me at an earlier age started getting into Magic. So just to be aware. But yeah, that's going to be it. Alright, thanks for watching.